Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Christina. I own and run my own small business, Made with Monday, where I sell stickers, bookmarks, t-shirts, and decals. What we're doing this week is doing a question and answer session. I gathered questions from YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok from my followers, and also went back through old YouTube videos to gather questions from there so that way I can kind of go through those. But we're going to be covering all the sticker brands, laminate brands, all those materials that I use, no gatekeeping, and then also going to go into detail about how I manage my time as a mom of 3 kids with special needs, how I do budgeting, and my process for making different crafts. I've gotten a lot of questions on why I do certain things and stuff like that. So we're going to dive in. It's going to be a fun one. So let's get started. So we have several questions to go over today. I'm actually separating them into 3 sections. So the first section will be about the business. The second section will be about craft process / shipping information. And then the last one will be what I use, all the brands, all the specifics. Let's get started with the business section. The first question was why we named it Made with Monday, and second part of that question is why did we want to start a business together? So my husband and I own the shop Made with Monday. We are partners in life, but also partners in business. And I mean, the second part of that question is I could not imagine not doing it with Adam. He helps me design a ton of the stickers. He has a lot of great ideas. He helps me with kind of coming up with new ideas and really just is a huge help to the shop. I do a lot of the other stuff because he works full time, but it definitely is a team effort. We came up with the name Made with Monday because honestly, we either wanted Monday in the name, which is our last name, or we wanted our son's initials, JSB, but there was a ton of other custom shops and stuff with the initials JSB, so we decided to just use our name Monday. I had thrown around a couple ideas, was looking to see what domains were open, things like that, and Made with Monday was one of them, and it just flowed, and we went with it because honestly, everything in the shop is made by us in some capacity. My decals are not, but the designs are made by us. Next question is how long did it take to get your first sale on Etsy? I started adding stickers to the shop in December 2023, the very end. Like December 27th, I think is the first sticker I uploaded, and continued to do so, and then announced it to like friends and family on our Facebook on January 15th, which was our first day of orders. We got several orders from families and friends, and then our first random order, so the person I don't know who they are, came on February 25th. Took over a month to get like my first random sale, but I definitely think if you are starting with a platform like Etsy, who is going to help you if you're getting sales, it is great to have friends and family buy from Etsy, even though they take commission and all that stuff. I think it does help your listings to give them a little bit of boost when they order from you. So I would go that route and sacrifice that commission because at the end of the day, it's going to help you get other orders. How much time do you dedicate weekly to your business? Will you be able to scale it and grow, or due to family obligations, will need to stay the size you are until your children are older? Fantastic question. So we're going to split that up. So the first part is how much time do you dedicate weekly to your business? I don't have a solid clear answer, but just to kind of give you an idea of how my days look Monday through Friday, for the most part, I may spend maybe 20 minutes in the morning, and that's fulfilling orders from overnight. That's about it I do in the morning. And then in the afternoon, as long as my youngest is napping and the other 2 are at school, I am probably spending at least 2 hours in the office dedicated to doing stuff, whether that be what you see on YouTube. It could be fulfilling orders, designing stickers, making stickers, updating our finances, anything that evolves the business. And in the evening, I normally come back in here and sometimes it's like another 30 minutes, kind of depending on how our evening's going, how the boys are doing and things like that. On the weekends, I typically do work again during nap time, so there's another 2 hours, and then I would say I spend maybe an extra hour in addition to that, so probably 3 hours each day on the weekends. And again, that kind of depends on what's going on. If we have other plans, I will not work that time. It just really depends on what's happening that week. But that kind of is how many hours I would say I spend a week. So probably 3 hours a day. So 21 hours a week, I would say. And then asking if I'll be able to scale it and grow. I mean, I kind of am scaling it and growing. I do think I have bandwidth to continue to grow. So currently I am. I could definitely see there being a point though of me having to wait until Ben is like in kindergarten, which was kind of my overall plan with getting started so early, was to kind of just get my feet wet, and then once he gets in kindergarten I can really hit the ground running. It's been going so well and I've been able to manage things that I have been able to continue to push forward. So yeah, I think I still have room to grow before I have to like pump the brakes or anything, but I hope that answers your question. The next one is, do you operate within your business budget and revenue, or do you find that you need to supplement your business finances with personal funds? I'm starting a new business and find that what I thought was enough capital is not enough, struggling to decide if I add additional personal financial support to be able to grow faster, or what until that business generates more revenue to be able to add additional equipment. It's a great question. Very good question. So when we started, and this is one that I would definitely suggest. So when we started in January, I opened up a business checking account and a business credit card. So all my purchases for the business go on that business credit card. It makes it very easy during tax time, very easy to keep everything straight. And then I have my checking account. So all my deposits from Etsy, from Bear, from Shopify, they all go into one account. So I can see live, real time, how much money we have in that account. When we first started, I put a set amount aside in there that I thought would be enough, but it wasn't. So we had to put a little bit more in. I was doing good with that number, but then we had several things kind of come up that were not as well planned in the beginning of last year, that we did ended up adding a little bit more personal finance, and that was for my Cricut Maker 3. It was for the printer because my printer last July just died on me, and you can't be a sticker business without a printer. So we had to urgently buy that one. And then, oh, my heat press. My heat press was on sale for it was in July. So we bought all those three really close together, and so that made us add more into it. I have not paid ourselves back yet, but I do currently have a budget that I am working with. We haven't had to add since. So I think that was last July we had to add, and then we haven't had to put money back in since. And I could pay myself back right now, but I want to keep that money in there, feel a little bit more comfortable before I take anything out. A big thing for me right now is just making sure that we're not overspending, that we are staying within those means. I know how much we have in the account. We do not spend outside that amount in the account. We have no credit card debt. So the only debt we have is to ourselves. Definitely operating within what we have and our revenue is helping us. I know in the very beginning it is hard, but as much as you can, I think that's key. I bought my camera for YouTube with funds in our bank account. I really tried to wait until we had those funds available so that way I could purchase it. And I do try to wait as long as possible to purchase those bigger things when we have the funds available. The solo came from purchase funds. The shelf came from purchase funds. Everything else has come from what we had available. I definitely don't buy without outside my means. I always look for sales. I always try to find other things that we can use. And I also think it helps for you to get a gauge on what's going to sell or not before you go ahead and spend other things. That just starting off slowly and then expanding helps. And then the last question for this area is, do you ever feel burnout? If so, how do you handle it? You seem to wear many different hats. And I don't think it's necessarily I feel burnout, but I do get overwhelmed sometimes. And I really try to, when I do feel overwhelmed, I try to make a list of things that's like in my brain. I do a huge brain dump and really just try to get all those things out there. And then I also try to focus on the exact needs that need to be done today. Orders always need to be completed. That's always priority one. And then if I have any outstanding listings to go up, that's always priority two, because I can't make money if the listings aren't out there. Those are kind of like my always two bigger priority, and that helps me feel less overwhelmed. I have also, like I've talked about the YouTube channel, and I've taken either a week off or I have done a shorter week. Or like I said, now I'm going to be mixing things up with different content, and I think that that's helping me feel less overwhelmed, but I haven't really felt burnout yet. Like, I truly love what I get to do every day. I love being able to create these stickers. I love packing orders. I mean, there's not an aspect about this business that I dread, honestly. Like, I love every bit of it, so I don't really feel burned out. I'm feeling pretty good and excited and happy, and yeah, so I haven't really experienced burnout yet, which is positive, and I think it's just more overwhelmed, and then I really just try to pivot, focus on what needs to be done, push everything off, and then go from there. Another tactic I've done too is when I have that list, I then just plug away and only work on that list and just knock it out, and I always feel better once that's done too. So really just learning how to kind of pivot, and everything may not go as planned, but that's okay, and you just gotta pivot. Hope that kind of helps answer that question. The next section we're gonna be going into is how I craft things, my process, and some shipping questions. Okay, the first question I had was sticker sizing. How do I decide on a sticker size? I typically do 3 inches for all my stickers, unless they are very short, so they're not very tall. Then I sometimes go out to 3.25, 3.5. I think I have a few that are 4 inches because they're like 1 inch tall. So that is kind of like my measurement that I use to make stickers. There are a few that I think I have that are like 2.75, and that's because they're like 3 inches tall or have a 3-inch in there somewhere. So I just tried to make them kind of proportioned, but for the most part, our stickers are that size. I do have some stickers that you can customize sizes, so you can make them smaller or bigger. And then honestly, any of my stickers I can make smaller or bigger. You just have to message me and ask, and I'd be happy to customize it to the size that you want. Next question is difference between stickers and decals. So this is just going to be for the stickers that I sell and the decals that I sell. It's going to vary for every person on how that looks. So for my stickers, they are water resistant, and they are made with a protective laminate, easy to peel back, stick on. They do stick to your stuff, but they also aren't gonna be really super hard to remove if you have to. Also, with the stickers, they have a white background for the most part. Some of my stickers have a different color background, but for the most part, they have like a white border, white background. You can stick my stickers on cars and you can put them in the dishwasher. I just don't know how long they're gonna hold up because they are only water resistant. The laminate makes them waterproof. The sticker makes them waterproof because the sticker is vinyl, but my ink I use is not waterproof. Therefore, they're only water resistant. So that's the caveat there. So this is a decal, and if you've worked with like vinyl before, you can think of it that way, but it's really neat because it's UV proof, waterproof, and weather resistant. So it's gonna hold up on cars, it's gonna hold up on like a cooler, a fridge, window, wall, water bottle. Honestly, you can put these anywhere you want. You can put them on your computer. There's so many different options, but this is what it looks like. So it has a clear background instead of the white, and you peel this part back, you stick it on, and then you use a vinyl squeegee to get all the pieces on and to adhere to the surface you're applying to, and then you peel back. It has a little bit more like effort that you have to put forth and those type of things, but it's gonna last a bit longer, which is really nice. It depends on what the feel you're looking for is, and then also how long you want it to last. I have a ton of laminating questions that I want to go over, and I use this BU Younger, and it is a hot and cold laminator, and whenever I laminate stickers I always use it on the cold setting. And I received a question of downside to laminating stickers on the hot setting. When I did it with mine, they like warped and looked terrible, and I did it on accident because my laminator was still hot from my magnetic bookmarks, and that did not work. So it could have been my sticker paper, it could have been my laminate, I don't know. So it really just depends on the materials you are using to see if that's gonna work best. I know some people hot laminate like 2 sticker sheets together, put them through, separate them, and that's how they laminate. There's just so many different ways you can do it. It just all depends on the materials you are using. My laminating settings always for my stickers is the cool, and that's the reason why I push them through, is to reduce any bubbles, to help the laminate adhere to the sticker paper even better. It just gives that extra push and pressure on it. I'm putting pressure on it, but that just gives a little bit extra to ensure that it's all stuck together. And that is also answers the question on why I laminate when I have a self-adhesive laminate that I'm putting on top of my stickers. And again, it's just to make sure that it really adheres to the sticker paper. And another question I get a lot of times is, why do I not cut the laminate to go inside the registration marks, especially for Cricut? And I have done this in the past, but I noticed it didn't make a difference. Sometimes it does, and the Cricut will get mad at me and cut wrong, but for 98% of the time, it doesn't make a difference. You can add a white crayon to the registration mark, so that helps like reduce that glare you get from laminate. You can go over it with a permanent marker to help make those stand out. I've put tape before in the past, like Scotch tape on top of the registration marks, and that's worked. And then I just stopped doing it one day and it still cut fine. So I think there's a few different tactics you can go about it, but mine's been working fine without it. If it's giving me a hard time, especially for Cricut, if it's giving me a hard time, I will go into either beta or live mode, whichever one I'm not in, and that typically fixes it. Or I will go ahead and cut the laminate to fit perfectly, or I'll do one of those things I mentioned and that rectifies it too. But most of the time I don't have to do that extra step anymore, so I'm just going with it. Shipping questions. One of the questions I got was, how do I ship stickers on Shopify? I don't charge for shipping in my shop, and this is something I haven't done and want to continue to do, because I am 100% the type of person who, if you give me something that is priced $10 but I have to pay $5 shipping, or I see something that's priced the same exact item priced for $15 free shipping, I would buy the $15 free shipping. I don't know why, but that's how my brain works. And several people I reached out to about the same question agreed they would do the same thing. I really try to make it so I can continue to offer free shipping. On my Shopify store, so on my website, I do offer free shipping there as well. My stickers are priced the same. I buy all my labels through Shopify too, so I don't use a third party. I buy all my shipping labels through either Etsy, Fair, TikTok Shop, or Shopify. So I buy from the place where the order is coming from. And Shopify doesn't let you do the Etsy stamp, which I'll go over in a second, that Etsy allows you to do. But it does let you choose flat, and it's $1.30, I believe, or $1.40. So I'm paying a little bit more for it, but I still get free shipping. I very rarely get one sticker orders on my website. I don't get a lot of orders on my website, and that's me being 100% honest with you. Most of my sales come from Etsy. So I've decided to keep the pricing the same because I rarely get just one sticker order. And if I do, it's a wash. It is what it is. And I kind of move on. But that may be something I have to adjust in the future. I just haven't really gotten to the point where it's becoming an issue because I think I've gotten 1 or 2 one sticker orders this entire year I've had my website. And my website just reached 1 year old. The next question, and I'm gonna try to explain this the best I can. I would like to know about shipping labels for Etsy. I'm still new and I don't print labels from Etsy. I do my envelopes old school style and drop them off at the post office, meter mail for a receipt. Any suggestions for a better method would be helpful. I would definitely choose the Etsy stamp. To do that, because I know some people like aren't sure how to do that, when you go to package, select letter. And then you're gonna have to change your measurements and you're gonna have to do your envelope. So my envelope here is 7.25 inches by 5.25 inches. And then I always select, I think it's 0.2 or 0.25, which it's definitely smaller than 1/4 of an inch with everything in here. And then you have to change your ounces to under 1 ounce. My stickers packaged everything are typically 0.8 ounces. Sometimes they're a little bit heavier if there's a lot of stickers in here, but for the most part, on average, I'm at like 0.7, 0.8 ounce. So I select 0.8 and you can save that shipping setting too, so it's easier when you're checking out. But that will then give you a label to print. And what I would suggest doing, you don't need to buy a thermal label printer. You can use whatever printer you have. This for a very long time, but this is a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and there is a label in here and it's a sticker. So just like, and it goes right on there just like you would stick any other label or any other package you get in. And that way you can put it all on the front and that's done. But these are a little bit more expensive than like a thermal label printer, these things, but especially if you're just starting out, don't spend the money on the thermal label printer. I love mine, don't get me wrong, I love it so much, but when you're first starting out, you just don't need it yet. And these do great, and that way it looks like very clean, very professional, because it shows your return address, their address, and that it's a stamp and it's been paid. Those do include tracking, so it allows you to be a star seller on Etsy, but the tracking is not the best and they sometimes disappear and they can't find it. They sometimes show delivered, but that just means that they're delivered at the post office, not delivered to the person. So that kind of like gets people worked up, and I always tell them to wait a couple days, it'll come, and it normally comes. But there's just some caveats with it, but for the price, it's nice, you know? So that's the only thing I struggle with for the most part with offering free shipping. It's going okay so far, so I'm gonna continue to go that route. But let me know if that answers your question on it. If not, please email me and I'll include my email address below. But you can always email me any questions. You can message me on any social media channel and I'd be happy to walk you through that too if that didn't answer it. But I hope it did. The next and final section is, what do I use? I get this question so many times. What are the brands? Where do you get these things from? And I'm going to go ahead and link those all down below. I do not get commission for any of this. This is just me offering to give this to you. I don't make any money. Just throwing that out there. This is not sponsored. This is not anything. This is just me sharing. I don't see a reason to gatekeep, like this is silly. So first thing I get, I think all the time, is my storage containers. Where do you get them from? So we'll start with these ones right here. So these ones are actually from either Container Store or Aldi. I cannot tell you the difference between the Container Store and the Aldi one. They're mixed in here. I have no idea which one's which. Could not tell you. So if you live near an Aldi, I believe they came out, I feel like it was like winter and fall that I saw them. Just watch for them, but they're amazing and they're significantly cheaper than the ones from Container Store. These ones were from Container Store, or some of them were, I don't know. I'll link the Container Store ones below, but money saving hack is wait for Aldi. And then let me show you these ones. These ones come in different sizes. You can get some of them as these thin ones. You can get 64 of these thin ones, which I have a few of those. You can get half the thin ones and half the bigger ones. You can get all the bigger ones. And then I think there's another size. But all these are the Iris brand, IRIS, and I got them all on Amazon. This is another thing that does go on sale. I've talked about this before, but I'm an avid, put it in your cart on Amazon and wait for it to go on sale, because these have gone on sale a bunch of times. And that's normally when I buy them, when I see them getting close and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy them. That's what I'm gonna buy them. I do not plan on buying anymore. I think I'm at my sticker bin max, and we're gonna make do with everything else I have. But I wanna show you where I store my other stickers that aren't in these bins, because I have over 1,000 stickers, so I think that needs to be clear. So this is the other thing I use. These are a storage case, Simply Tidy. These are from Michaels. These are also go on sale a lot too. I think I've seen them, like they're priced at like $40. Do not pay that. They go down to like $14.99 or something like that. Something around there is a decent price from. I think I've seen them lower, which I've bought them at that price too. But it includes 16 of these containers. And I just go ahead and put my stickers in here. So if someone orders, I will go to these bins and find the sticker. I don't restock these all the time though either. Like these are Halloween ones, so there's no point in me restocking them right now. But as I get closer to Halloween, I probably will restock some of these just to have on hand. I just think it goes a lot smoother for shipping. It's a lot less stressful when I'm looking at orders because I can just grab and go. I just started my third one of these. And some of these I pack really tight with stickers, so it all kind of depends, but I try to have a theme in each container. That's how I store my stickers, where I get all that stuff from. Okay, my next question is my sticker paper. For my traditional sticker, which is this one, vinyl with the laminate, I use a vinyl sticker paper, and currently I'm using HTVRONT. It just works best with my printer. And I think that's the key here when you're picking out sticker paper, is you have to see what you feel is best and what works with your printer best. Because we all have different printers, we all have different humidity. There's so many different factors that go into sticker paper. But what I would suggest doing if you are wanting to start stickers or try it out, they all have on Amazon like little packs you can do, like 10 pieces of paper. Start with those in a variety of brands. Koala is one that people like. I've done J&J before. I have done Online Labels. There's just a variety. A few other ones I've tried, but I don't remember the names actually. There's so many different things. I buy matte vinyl sticker paper. That is what you want to look for. Those are the waterproof ones. You don't want like regular sticker paper, you just want vinyl sticker paper. So I would look that up, buy little kits of each one, see what works with your printer, and then go from there. For my packaging stickers, so for these stickers, yeah, a lot of my sticker sheets and these stickers, I use HTVRONT Glossy, and I use no laminate on those, and that's for those which are ones that really don't need to be water resistant because they're going on packages and stuff like that. The next question is laminate, and I'm gonna show you all my laminates for everything. The first is, I don't even have a package out, but it's the Avery self-adhesive laminate, and that I buy on Amazon. That is what I have found works easiest and best. I know a lot of people do the OrGuard as well, so that's another option. And again, it's really gonna end up depending on your cutting machine, your sticker paper, like it all has to go together. And I really feel it's trial and error of all those things. My holographic sticker paper, I think people, and I might have used this too, it's like BID, something like that. But the one I've been buying from is COSRK, and it's holographic sticker paper, transparent laminate overlay is how I make my holographic stickers. I just put those on top of the HTVRONT matte sticker paper. And then I think I've thrown all my like packaging out. So for my matte laminate that I use for my bookmarks and magnetic bookmarks. I use the Llama brand, and it's matte laminate, and that requires heat. That is when I use the laminator for. And honestly, to come up with all these things that worked for me, I had followed a bunch of people on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, just sharing how they made stickers. And I took a little piece from everybody else's suggestions, and then I created my own. So I think it's just finding what works for you, what process you want to do, things like that. The bookmark cardstock that I use is I don't have that package either. I'm actually on top of clearing up my packaging, I guess. But the bookmark cardstock that I use is the premium presentation mat for Epson, because I have an Epson printer. I just really feel that the printers are made to print on their paper, and I feel the colors are just more vibrant. They come out the best on that. That's why I use that, and then I laminate both sides so it makes the bookmark nice and sturdy. My envelopes, these come from Amazon. They're 7.25 by 5.25 craft envelopes. The brand, and I like this brand, but I'm looking to buy them in higher stock. So if anyone has some craft envelopes they like, I just like the way those look best. I use Box, and they're invitation envelopes. But those are the envelopes that I use. And then the last question was what machines I have. So we'll kind of go through those. We'll start off here. I use as my main cutter is my Cricut Maker 3. This I use for my bookmarks, my stickers, my sticker sheets. And prior to this, I had the Explorer 3. And I've really liked it. I mean, I have my hard times with Cricut, and I think if you are a Cricut owner, you know what I'm talking about. And there are some hard times, and I really do think about switching. I'll talk about that in a second, but if this one were to go out on me, I would 100% just go back and buy another Cricut, because I know the software, I know everything. It just would make the most sense for me. Down here is my printer. It is the Epson 8500 Eco Tank. It's really great. I have honestly just bought a new thing of ink and filled them up, and I've had it since last July, I think, or August. That ink lasts a long time, and it's not that expensive to refill, so it's pretty great. This is my original printer that I use just for home office stuff, but now I use it to print out receipts from Etsy, Faire, Shopify, and then also I use it to print off my thank yous that I do and my sticker backers and all that. When that goes, or soon, I plan on upgrading to the EcoTank 8550 to have an extra printer on hand, but also just another one printing out some of the extra stuff to take off the burden off just the one. And I think it would be really helpful to have two printers that are the same, that I could print off stickers from both without worrying about the ink changing. Up here, I have my Rollo. That is my thermal printer. That is the wireless one. I don't know if you need the wireless one or not, but I like it. I was in between that and like the Mubin, I think it's called, but I ended up just going with the Rollo. I like it. I haven't had any issues. I did have one issue when I first started. Customer support, I messaged them and they called me within like 5 minutes and rectified the issue right away. It was amazing. So that's great. I love good customer support, and I haven't had an issue at all with it. My last machine, which I'll show you, this is the StarCraft Solo. It is a cutting machine that I purchased last year. I was hoping to replace my Cricut with it, but I'm having a little bit harder time with it. When I purchased it, I honestly knew it was going to be a learning curve, but I didn't realize how steep of a learning curve. It's very steep, very challenging, and I can print my planner stickers off of it, which turn out fantastic now, so I do like it for that. I do print my Made with Monday stickers on it, but that's kind of it right now. The rest of it's just a little bit more challenging, and I'm kind of on the fence on what my plan is with it. I still plan on using it for those other things, but truthfully, it's hard. I can't tell you a lot about that one, but it's not my favorite to work with. And that's unfortunate. And I do think I just have to continue to give it time, but it's really hard when I'm trying to scale my business and try to move as quickly as possible and get orders out and do all these other things. And then to learn that is a lot that I was not ready for. I think if that was the first machine I ever got and that's how I had to learn, it would have been fine. But because I've already spent all those years learning Cricut, I'm just very comfortable there. So I'm very apprehensive about trying a new software, a new machine, and especially now that I've been through that, I'm like really apprehensive. I think you just have to find what works with you and go with it. So that was a lot of questions. I hope that helped answer some questions, gave you some insight on what it looks like for me running a small business. And if you do have any other questions, please comment them below. I'd love to do another Q&A in the future so I can continue to gather some more questions and keep those aside as kind of we go throughout. But I hope you found that video helpful. That's where I'm gonna leave us for today. So thank you so much for tuning in to another video, and I will see you again next week.